Welcome back to Winning the Week. Sorry, I'm a couple minutes late. As you can see, John is not here, so I was throwing some stuff out on Twitter to make sure everyone knows that we're live right now. But like we always do, I am going to go for at least the next 90 minutes, probably going to hit over 100 start-sit questions. And we're just going to hammer through them. We'll probably talk a little bit DFS, maybe some underdog bets, that sort of thing if we have time. We're already a little bit behind, but this is going to be the question that we see from Garrett here. We're going to see a lot of this today. So let's just get out in front of it, and then I'll hit on it throughout the show as more questions about Stevenson trickle in. A big thing with Stevenson, he's had the fumbling issues. We know that he is not going to start this week, but he's still going to play. So the big thing is week 3, he had a 46% snap share. Week 4, he had a 55% snap share. Gibson was right around 35% the last 2 weeks. I think you just flip it. You go, Gibson is going to have 55%. Stevenson is going to have 34%. And there's a lot of rosters right now to where I'm starting guys like Ray Davis because I have injuries. We have bye weeks. We have other things going on to where my starting lineups aren't perfect everywhere. So this isn't hey, immediately just bench Stevenson, because honestly, he's a play in a lot of situations. I will flat out start Gibson over him if I somehow have both of them on my lineups. If not, then I'm going to go ahead, just start Stevenson where I have to, but he's like a borderline flex play this week. Yeah, I already see like 2 more questions coming about Ramondre, so we'll hit those and we'll just get started. As long as you guys are pumping these out, I'll just hammer through them as much as I can. Since John's not here, I don't have anyone else to bounce him off of. We will use the Dynasty Daddy start sit tool to, if there's anything that's really close, we'll throw it in there and see what everybody else says. All right. Okay. So let me scroll up to the top. And like always, if you need your question answered right now because you're doing things, throw a super chat in there. I'll be able to see it a lot faster and I'll get to it. If not, I'll just hammer through them as much as I can. All right, Patrick's first, because Patrick's always first because he always has a lot of questions. Okay, PPR start 2. We have Tyreek, Ayuk, and Leggett and JSN. I'm of the opinion I'm still not setting Tyreek Hill, especially against these guys. I like Leggett. I like Leggett as a flex play. I don't like Leggett over Tyreek. Same thing with JSN. Dude, JSN should have smashed against Detroit and how bad they are against the slot. But he was fine. That's the thing, is like he's always just fine. He'll have the boom weeks once every 6 to 7 weeks. So you're like, all right, he's a starter. Right now, he's just a flex play, nothing more. Brandon Ayuk, it's how much will you just keep betting on this talent? The problem is, and we talk about this a lot on Dynasty Theory's weekly show, is 49ers are a lot like the Lions. Some guys just aren't going to produce each week because they have way too many mouths to feed and everyone is really talented. So for me in this situation, I'm still going Tyreek and Ayuk because I think they're just flat out the better players. And the other two, just while the upside is there, Tyreek and Ayuk can always go nuclear any week. And nuclear for Leggett and JSN is just happens so infrequently that you really don't have to worry about it. Well, like I said, we're going to have lots of questions on this. Definitely promote Tracy this week. Tracy is going to be a play. I don't love him. I don't think he's a very good running back, but he's going to get 60% of the snap share. And there's just not a lot of guys this week you can say that about, that are just going to flat out come off your taxi, right? Just scrolling through, making sure I'm not missing anything. Hey, and one more thing. At about in 22 minutes, we'll take a slight pause from the questions and we'll go over any injury news that's breaking. I'll have to get on my phone to do it, so we'll just do that real quick. All right, so we got half PPR, start Keenan or pick up Bo Milton, Darius Slayton, or Curtis Samuel as a flyer. Okay, so Curtis Samuel looks like a play, but I don't think he actually is. I think there's a very strong chance that the Bills just play a lot of 12 personnel and just be like, yeah, we're not going to really use the slot as much as we would if we had Shakir on the field. On the other hand, Bo Milton is a play. Honestly, I love Darius Slayton this week. He's kind of the unsung guy who's going to be on the field for 85% of the Giant snaps, and they don't have anyone else to throw to. I know Wan'Dale's might get 12 targets, but he's going to get 70 yards off that. Darius Slayton is the guy who could end up getting a 40-yard pass and then a 30-yard pass. All of a sudden, he has 2 receptions, 70 yards, and he's going to do better than a lot of these guys are. But definitely, I would say pick up Bo Melton. We don't know how this whole Dobbs situation is going to play out. So I would say Melton shouldn't be on the waivers anywhere if you have someone else you could drop. So out of this question, I'm going Slayton. I'm just not playing Keenan Allen right now. And the other two are they're flyers, just like you said. Hammer Sermon. Yeah, here, let me move to this next question. This makes more sense. Okay. Half point PPR 1 has to go. So you have Stevenson, you have Sermon, and you have Sutton. So Sutton's playing. Sutton gets all of the first looks with the Broncos. He's getting like a 30% target share there. You're not sitting Sutton. So it comes down to you want 35% snap share Stevenson, who is still going to catch passes, or do you want 60% Trey Sermon, who is not a good running back? With the weather, we're thinking there's going to be some thunderstorm activity in Jacksonville this week. So I'm going Sermon just in case if they have to lean on the run a little bit more. I really hate playing off the weather because there's a lot of times to where it doesn't matter. The wind looks okay, so the wind isn't going to push the ball around. It just depends on how heavy this downpour is going to be during the game. There is going to be rain, but if it's a light rain, then it literally doesn't matter. Don't back off any of the wide receivers at all. If it gets a little bit heavier, Sermon can end up getting 4 to 5 more carries, which going against a guy like Stevenson, who might get 10 this week total, I think Sermon is just the play that you go with. So you end up dropping Stevenson here. Wordy, let's see. I'm down bad this week. Dude, there are literally, I'm playing KJ Osborne in spots. I'm playing Ray Davis in spots. I think we're all down really bad. If you have more than like 3 or 4 teams and you just have a whole bunch of lineups to do, some of my lineups are awful on what I consider good teams this week. Okay, so I'm down bad. Pick 2. Sermon, Dowdle, Chase Brown, Tracy, Juju. That's not going to happen. Pop Douglas. With questions like these, I usually just go straight to the running backs. If I don't have to play one of these borderline wide receivers, I'm not going to do it. Chase Brown's going to be in my lineup. That Ravens-Bengals game, I believe, let me check to make sure. I think it has the highest point total or the second highest point total. Yeah, right now, it's borderline that in the Cardinals-49ers game. So you're going to give me a high point total game with, I think the Ravens are going to score, so the Bengals are going to have to put up points a lot too. So Chase Brown is going to be in my lineup. Dude, I can't play Dowdle. I just don't think the upside is there. Sermon, while he's bad, we see a lot of bad running backs get 80 yards and a touchdown. So that's what I'll place. You know what? But Tracy's there too. Tracy is so bad though. I'm going to play Sermon. Tracy is legit not good, and the Seahawks run defense, barring what they did against the Lions, isn't bad. So I'm going to go Sermon and Chase Brown here. This is a tough one, though. All right, start 2 in full PPR. We got Pittman, Shaheed, and Wan'Dale. Full PPR makes me want to play Rondale because he's going to get you 6 or 7 catches. Shaheed's upside is just so huge every single week. We know what he can do. Pittman gets Flacco. And as much as we like Anthony Richardson, we know Flacco is flat out better for the pass catchers. I'm going Pittman and Shaheed. But let's just real quick, let's do this. We're going to go. Pittman against Wan'Dale. Yeah, Pittman's winning all of these and almost by 2 full points. So it's the way that I would go. Just make sure they're not missing anything on Shaheed. Shaheed should still be projected for more than Wan'Dale is. That surprises me. Yeah, so Shaheed, no. flipped him around. Yeah, so Shahid's almost 1 full point better. So I would say easily sit Wandell this week. Tracy catches passes too. Sorry, half the time I just click when I'm here by myself. Okay, so we have from Wallbang, start 2 full PPR. You have Ayuk, Pittman, and ETN. ETN's in my lineup. I know Tank is getting a lot of rushes, but that PPR upside is still there with ETN, so he is going to be in the lineup. Like we said earlier, it's Brandon Ayuk. There's a chance where he could catch 3 passes this game, or he could get 9 and get 180 yards. I'm going to play Pittman. Pittman, I think, is a little bit safer. I think the game's going to be a little bit closer. There's every chance in the world to where the 49ers just stomp the Cardinals. Like, I know the point spread's there. Kind of saw it with the Cardinals last week. They struggled really bad against that Commanders defense, which I never thought I would say, right? And now they're going to go against the 49ers. So let's just wait. I will set Brandon Ayuk, but that's not one that I love. Wicks or Deontay Johnson? Deontay Johnson is in your lineup every single week. Wicks is more of a play over, say, like a JSN type wide receiver, or even if Jameson was playing this week, right? That would be a talk. But Deontay Johnson, as long as Andy Dalton is in there, he's a top 20 wide receiver, so he should never really be on your bench if needed. Ramondre or Rico Dowdle? I'm going to go Dowdle. I don't like his upside, but there's a chance where Ramondre doesn't get a touch inside the 20. That's in the realm of possibility. So then you're hoping he breaks one, or he somehow catches a lot of passes. Antonio Gibson's probably going to get those this week. So just start Dowdle. We'll see what this Ramondre stuff does after this week. So I had a long talk with Dan. Dan, for anyone who doesn't watch Dynasty Theory, he's my co-host on there. Whittington is a great play this week. So he was on the field for 97% of snaps last week for the Rams. I think he only ended up having 60 yards, if I remember right. I think it was like eight targets, 6 catches, 60 yards, somewhere around there. But he's on the field every play with Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford makes wide receivers great. So if you have Whittington is a strong play over. We had a Keenan Allen question earlier, right? Like, I'm playing Whittington 100% over Keenan Allen, not even worrying about it. Slowly catching up on the questions, so I'll take some more time on them from here on out. What's up, Ty? So we got Zeke, Rico. Why do you guys have all of these backs, man? And Hill. So here's the thing with Justice Hill. Like, I think on paper, we should look at it as the Bengals are not going to be able to stop the Ravens rushing game. So Derrick Henry's going to smash. What if, just throwing it out there, what if the Bengals go out there and get 14, 17 quick points? We've already seen what happens as far as the Ravens' offensive game plan. Derrick Henry comes off the field more. Justice Hill goes in, and he ends up getting like a 30% target share just with the way that Lamar Jackson is attacking teams right now. So if I don't have to play Zeke or Rico going against Pittsburgh, I'm not going to. So Justice Hill is going to be the play there. I think that he just has a higher upside too. The floor isn't great with any of these guys. Roy, completely agree. Okay, start Josh Allen or Justin Fields. I am never sitting Josh Allen ever. I don't care what defense he's going against, unless like it's blizzard type conditions in Buffalo. But even then, we've seen what he could do in blizzard like conditions in Buffalo, right? I'm never sitting Josh Allen. Pittman or Deontay? Like I said earlier, I think Pittman is a great play this week, but Deontay is the smash guy for me, so he's going to be in the lineup. Let's just throw it in the sit start tool real quick. Yeah, I mean, so the projections are actually really close. If you're on a computer, you can probably see them. On your phone, you probably can't. It's within a point to half a point with most of these, which is saying something for Pittman now, right? Because Pittman would have been at least 2 points less if Anthony Richardson was playing. He's not, so we don't have to worry about it. So I'm still on the Deontay Johnson thing, and you don't have to worry about the weather in Chicago. Okay, Jordan Whittington against Green Bay, Dalton Kincaid. DJ, I'm not sure. He didn't list a tight end premium on this or Kraft against the Rams. So I think all these guys are great plays this week. I think Kraft is kind of the forgotten guy, especially if we get news that we know Luke Musgrave, he's going to be limited no matter what. If he somehow, okay, I just saw your comment, DJ. If there's none whatsoever, Kraft isn't in play because he's just not going to get the amount of receptions. Jordan Whittington and Dalton Kincaid. I'm playing Kincaid this week, even without a tight end premium, because I think there's a strong chance that everything that went to Shakir, Kincaid was already getting 5 catches a game. Now he could easily get 7 or 8 because those the targets that are going over the middle of the field are all going to be funneled to Kincaid now. So as much as I like Whittington, he's a strong play. Dalton Kincaid, I think, is going to be a smash this week. Okay, so we hit this, but we're adding Melton to this. I'm playing Bo Melton. Bo Melton, he's, like I said earlier, he shouldn't be on waivers. He should be on most teams until we see how this situation plays out. The Dobbs thing just doesn't make sense. There was a lot of talk about that in the DD Fantasy Discord earlier, to where Dobbs is getting targets. Like, I don't understand why there has to be something else, because it's not like he's getting a catch a game, 2 catches a game. He's doing fine. So I think there's something else going on. Maybe there's a personality conflict with coaches, which could easily happen. I mean, we see it in our workplaces all the time, right? So what if he's a guy that ends up just getting traded to? There's a lot of wide receiver needy teams. The Packers can deal without having a wide receiver, and maybe that he gets something else in return. So not that I'm saying he's going to get traded, but it's a possibility. And if that possibility happens, Bo Melton needs to be on every team. With that said, I'm going to play Bo Melton this week. That Rams defense is terrible. Maybe he only gets 3 or 4 targets, but I think there's a strong chance he actually gets 3 or 4 receptions. And that's kind of what we're looking for Justice Hill, right? What's up, Hayden? All right, so we got start 1 at flex. We have Ayuk. Isn't it bad that Ayuk is in the same thing as like a Wicks and Chuba? Like, going into the season, he's smashed. He's a top 5 wide receiver, both redraft and dynasty. We love him. Absolutely no worries. He got his contract. We're good to go. And now, do we start him or Datavian Wicks? Yeah, that's kind of where we are. So Brian Robinson, we haven't had any questions on him yet. If anyone listened to, load up the DD Fantasy Radio Network, that's what the feed is on all podcast networks, right? Load that up. So Sunday morning, you can listen to Jeff Mueller's Injury Report podcast. Usually it goes up Saturday night. I listen to it every Sunday morning. It's not that Brian Robinson isn't going to play and he's not going to be good. It's, will they limit him? And it was kind of the worry going into the season with Austin Eckler. What if Brian Robinson is just the 2-down back this week? Austin Eckler is in on every 3rd down opportunity. That's going to kill his upside. So Brian Robinson for me is like a very borderline flex play. Chuba's in all my lineups. Chuba he's not getting quite the bell cow workload that we want. He's getting, think about 59 to 60% of snaps. But when he's in, he's broken 100 yards the last 2 weeks. He hasn't had the easiest matchups, but the Chicago Bears they don't do a great job at stopping the run. So I think Chuba is actually a really, really good play this week. Appreciate you, man. Hey, guys, I appreciate all the questions. Like I said, I'm probably about 10 behind right now, so just keep them coming, and we'll just keep smashing them out for the next, we got about 70 minutes left. Like I said, in about 10 minutes from now, well, probably about 15 after the news actually breaks, And we'll make sure that all this stuff is still relevant just to make sure we haven't had any big injuries come in and anything. Lamar, or this is the first time I see this, JD5. I like it, but I've never seen it before. So it's Lamar or Daniels. To me, it comes down to Lamar is playing in a great game script. Like the Bengals are going to put up points. That Ravens defense isn't the Ravens defense that we've seen for many years. It's very beatable. Give me 1 second. I'm just pull up something real quick on that Commanders game. So Commanders, yeah. So look at it like this: the Commanders have an implied total of 23 points, the Browns of 20 points, right? The Bengals are 23 points and the Ravens are 25 to 26. We know Derrick Henry's going to run them in, or Lamar is getting points on every touchdown. So for me, I'm playing Lamar. I do worry with what if that running game isn't very good for the Commanders this week and the Browns defense shows up a little bit more. All of a sudden, Daniels is going to have to run. That rushing floor is there, but he really doesn't have the skill talent around him yet. Like, I love McLaurin, but Zach Ertz is like the second best guy, right? So I just don't want to buy into that over what Lamar can give you every single week. Mahomes or Justin Fields, and this is like the most legit question we've had. It's all right, so we're going to do this. I'm not going to cop out. I'm not going to hedge. I'm going to say Justin Fields is the stronger play. So I'm going to play Justin Fields. But let's make sure that I'm not completely crazy here. Oh, God, it makes me sick even saying that. But so far, we've faded these good quarterbacks for a while. And look at how close this is. Sleeper has them within 0.4 of a point. Fantasy Pros has Fields straight up better. Yahoo and FanDuel, they must use the exact same stat service because it's the exact same projections for both of them. Off by about a point, but this is how close it is. Look, I look at it this way with Fields and Mahomes this week. Fields gets the Cowboys defense and everybody's injured on it. Like, that whole defense is injured, and it wasn't good when it was healthy. No, I fell into the trap week 1 to when the Cowboys went in there and absolutely manhandled the Cleveland Browns defense or offense. Little did I know that the Browns offense is literally just that bad, and Deshaun Watson is that bad. So the defense isn't good, so I will play Justin Fields over Mahomes, and I want to throw up right now. Okay. In a league where no one, dude, Tyler. So I'm in a league to where I looked up the amount of trades we have had this year, and we've had 2. Yeah, and that is since the league rolled over back in March. So yeah, I get it. So we have start 2. We have Dell, Hunt, Ford, or drop Dell for Downs. Do you have to drop Dell? I don't think it's a bad play. Downs is a starter every single week, but I love Tank Dell, so I have a hard time dropping him. I'd be a lot closer to dropping Hunt for Downs, to be honest with you, than dropping Dell. Although I am going to say this week, I will start Hunt and Ford, because I think there's a strong possibility when CEH comes back, he takes over more of the rushing and passing share than what Hunt is doing right now. Well, we've seen Hunt. He's just blah. And I mean, the Chiefs know he's blah. That's why no one picked him up until, 2 weeks ago. Yeah. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to drop Hunt and pick up Downs, but we will start Dell and Ford this week, because I think Tank Dell's been really close on having huge weeks, but he's dropped, or they've slightly misfired on 2 touchdown passes so far. If that didn't happen, everyone would be all about Dell this week. So drop your Hunt, go pick up Downs. Just making sure I'm not missing any super chats yet. No, we're good. Okay. PPR 1.0 per target. We have Nick Wicks or Najee. Dude, Najee smash. He is going to get, let's see. So Patterson is out and Warren is out, unless I'm severely mistaken. I'm pretty sure I'm not. So Najee is going to get like 80% of snaps going against that horrible Cowboys defense. The Cowboys, let's say they go and score a few points. The best thing is Najee's not going to leave the field because they don't have anybody else to even throw the ball to out of the backfield. So Najee is just a smash this week. If you ask me Najee or McLaurin, like that type of wide receiver, I would be slightly more hesitant, but I would still be going Najee in that scenario. Okay. Brian Robinson or Brian Thomas Jr.? I am starting Brian Thomas Jr. Brian Robinson would be in my lineup 95% of weeks, but with him being injured and everything else going on, it's just not worth the risk when you could start a Brian Thomas Jr. who looks like he's slowly turning it on this week or each week. And by the end of the season, I think he's going to be such a strong play. I'm not going to doubt if he ends up being like a top 15 dynasty wide receiver. Okay, we have PPR, JSN or DJ Moore. Like, this should be easy. DJ Moore is having like one of those other 3 targets, but he gets 1 catch for a touchdown. Kind of happened with Justin Fields last year to where he would catch 3 or 4 balls, but he would break one for 80 yards. Dude, JSN is not going to be a play for me right now. His upside isn't there. We saw that he had that 17 target game. I believe it was against the Patriots. And then he comes out and it's just blah, right? He's an okay flex wide receiver, nothing more. I don't love his upside. I think Caleb is starting to figure it out a little bit more. So DJ Moore is going to be in my lineup more often than not. Oh, that's funny. We had 2 Jason questions in a row from Olaf and Cody. Hey, so 100% I'm playing Downs over JSN pretty much every single week. He's getting most of the first looks for the Colts. JSN, like I said, he's just a flex play. Don't love him. You could throw him in your lineup, but you're not really happy about it. Downs is somebody you could be really happy about. The only worry is going to be with that weather in Jacksonville. But like I said 20 minutes ago, and I'll probably repeat it later when I'm talking in another 20 minutes about this game, don't really worry about the weather unless it's a huge downpour. There's no wind. Wind affects passing games more than literally anything else, whether it's snowing, raining, wind matters. It looks like there's a 6 mile per hour wind, which is just average everywhere across every game. So like the wind in the 49ers game is going to be much worse than in the Jacksonville, but we're not going to talk about it. Zorian, let's see. Full PPR sit one between Tutu, Madison, and Tyron Tracy. I'm sitting Tyron Tracy. I just don't think he's a good running back. He's could be in line for more, but there's a chance where we see Eric Gray just get a lot more snaps than what we're assuming. Madison's going to get all the snaps. Amir Dula will, come in for a couple, but nothing to really speak of. But Tutu Atwell's just a strong play right now. We talk a lot about Whittington, but we kind of hope Whittington puts up as much points as what Tutu has been putting up the last 2 weeks. So I'm sitting one. I'm sitting Tracy. You're welcome, dude. Okay, let's see. Brainstorm. Let's see. We have Javonte or Dowdle at running back. Then wide receivers a long jam. So we'll hit the running back first is Javonte. I don't love the play. I loved him going into the year. But the truth is, he's just an okay play. But this week, an okay play at running back is something that I'm doing a lot. And I'm playing like I said, I brought up earlier, I'm playing Ray Davis in a lot of spots. I would love to put Javonte in. Dowdle isn't someone that I'm really there for. Okay, wide receiver is a long jam. We're picking 4. Marvin's in my lineup every week. DJ Moore, Reed, Wicks, Pittman, Whittington. So for me, it's Marv's in my lineup. Reed is like a top 5 wide receiver play this week. Then I'm going Pittman. So it really comes down to DJ Moore, Wicks, or Whittington? Did I say Pittman? Yeah. So Pittman's in. So we have Marv, Reed, Pittman. I'm going to go Whittington. He's on the field for every single snap with Matthew Stafford. We say that for a lot of people. We're going to smash him in our lineup, right? So I'm just going to play the guy with the quarterback that makes guys absolutely elite. Hayden again. Let's see. Pick one for my Superflex. We got Deshaun Watson, Caleb Williams, JSN, and Kareem Hunt. So with these two quarterbacks, I'm not looking to play a positional player over them in the Superflex spot. I would look at it this way. If you have a high negative points for interceptions, Caleb Williams probably isn't even a thought for me. Deshaun Watson is a fine play each week. He's averaging like 16, depending on your scoring, right? It's between 15 to 16 QB points a week. That's fine. It's top 15. It's nothing great. But Caleb can honestly go out there and get you 110 yards this week. I really hope that's not the case. With Caleb, that Panthers defense isn't good, but that Bears offense is pretty bad right now. And we know the Commanders defense is awful. Like whatever the Cardinals did last week, I can't even explain it because they should have absolutely hammered them. I'm going to Deshaun Watson. Okay, making sure I'm not missing anything. No super chats. We're good. Okay, yeah. Please make sure to just like it. I know you guys can't leave comments, but it's huge as far as the algorithm goes, right? So if you just hit the like button, I could see that we have almost 300 people in here watching the stream right now. 200. So if half of you would like it, that would be amazing. I'd really appreciate it. Okay, let's keep going. All right, so Muggs, half PPR, Rico Daddle or Trey Tucker? Dude, like Surtain Island worries me so much. Patrick Surtain is so good, but I think he's going to end up being on Jacoby Myers, and if that's the case, Trey Tucker is such a strong play, and he could break one at any point. And I don't know how much Surtain is just 100% going to. I mean, why would you shadow one of the Raiders guys? Like, they're not very good, so why shadow them? Just let Surtain play wherever he wants and call it good for this week. I'm going to play Trey Tucker. Like I said, Rico, he just doesn't even have a ceiling. There's nothing there. I mean, it's hard for me to even call him a flex play, to be honest, especially going against the Steelers this week. DJ's back. I feel really good about Whittington. Completely agree, man. So one last for this flex spot. Start one. No tight end premium full PPR. Wan'Dale or Kincaid. So for me, this comes down to touchdown upside. Wan'Dale, I truly believe, is going to catch more passes than Kincaid. I think the yardage total is going to be really close to the same. So if that's what you're worried about and you don't like playing into the touchdown upside game that we end up having to play with tight ends all the time, right? I'm going Kincaid because I think he could just flat out score more points than Wan'Dale, to where I like Wan'Dale, but like I said, he might get 8 catches for 50 yards. I don't think anyone would be surprised about that. Garrett, Gibson, or Sermon? You know what? Let's use the start sit tool here. Personally, I would play Sermon. I think the chances of him. Oh, this isn't going to even work. So Number Fire is the only one that has a projection for Sermon over 2 points. But, we'll look it up anyways. We'll base off what we can. So, yeah. So the projections are really jacked up with these two. I think people just haven't really caught up yet. Trey Sermon is the play pretty much everywhere. But like I said, the projections aren't really that great. I'm playing Sermon just because he's going to get most of the snaps. Gibson should get most of the snaps, but who knows? Maybe it turns into one of the college things with Stevenson. Is like, hey, you don't get to get in on the first 4 plays. Like the first series, you're sit. And then all of a sudden he's back on the field because he's the fresh and he's the better running back, right? as much as coaches want to bench someone for fumbling, they want to win the game more. So if Gibson goes out and isn't producing the way that they know Stevenson can, Stevenson's going to be right back in the game. But it's not a bet that I want to worry about. Oh, I'm falling behind now. Okay. So, Tyler, if you want to throw that in a full comment, I can't really go back and look and see what this one pertains to, but go ahead and throw it in while I'll answer it again, man. All right, Hayden, Tank Dell or Javonte? Tank Dell. So if I'm advising anyone, I'm going to tell them to play Javonte because it's just the safer play, right? That's the scapegoat. Hey, play the running back. Dude, Tank Dell is going to go nuclear at some point. I truly believe that. I know it's like a Diggs revenge game, and this is what we buy into. Tank Dell is Jaden Reed, Jamison Williams. He's the one that could get you 2 catches, go 60 yards on both for a touchdown. I love Tank Dell. I am playing Tank Dell over Javonte just because I think it's more fun. Burrow or Fields? This dude, I love. So Burrow was kind of my play at quarterback this week. I think there's a strong chance he breaks 300 yards. If you have any sort of passing bonus, I think Burrow is just flat out the play. But if this is just a +4 for throwing touchdowns, -2 for interceptions, I'm going Fields. The floor is just, it's starting to show up for Fields a little bit more, right? And he's willing to run it in. We saw this last game. I was a little bit worried going into that Colts game to where didn't really see him rushing as much. Didn't see him, those 20-yard rushing touchdowns that he pulled off. Didn't really show up. Now they kind of are. So in that case, you play the rushing quarterback unless you absolutely need the ceiling for Burrow. Unless there are bonuses, like I said, for yardage or anything more. If it's +6, I'm going Burrow because I think Burrow can throw 3 touchdowns this week. All right, ZZZ. Let's see. Pick 2. Whenever I don't see it, I just assume PPR, to be honest. Terry, Wicks, or Brian Thomas. I am playing Terry and Brian Thomas. I love Wicks this week. There's still a lot of wide receivers there for the Packers, right? Like, I know they're missing 2 of them. I mean, there's a chance Wicks gets 3 catches. And Brian Thomas, a dude, just looks great. And Terry, while him and Daniels really haven't hit it off, it's because they haven't really had to. I mean, they've been fine, right? But we haven't seen that huge connection yet. But the Commanders have no one else to throw to. So Terry's just sees my lineup more often than not, to where Wicks still has to deal with Jalen Reed, Kraft, Jacobs out of the backfield, Bo Melton. And those are all better plays than anything that the Commanders have. Okay, I'm going to answer this, and then we're going to look up injuries real quick. Okay, Shaheed or a Dunze? It's Rashid Shaheed for me. You're already starting DGM. Yeah, I am not starting 2 Bears wide receivers unless I absolutely have to. It's just not a play you need to make when you have a Shaheed in a high point scoring game going against the Chiefs. Okay, give me 1 second. Gonna load up my DFS news here so I could see. Oh, looks like Sauce Gardner might have got a concussion a little while ago. That's too bad. Richardson's out. Taylor's out. Not seeing anything really big yet. Damian Pierce is out. Evan Ingram's out. Looks like Njoku is playing. Nothing really big right now. See, everyone else is slightly worried about the rain too, but honestly, you just don't know as far as Jacksonville goes. Okay, yeah, so no, it doesn't look like any really big news has happened that we haven't foreseen already. Let me figure out where I'm at now. Ty, appreciate you, man. Yeah, dude, just hit the likes, guys. It means it's huge for us. Every single week we'll have more people listen, just means more questions come in. It gives, even though if I somehow don't get to your question, I guarantee there's going to be one somewhere in the stream that's really close that we'll be able to, base it off of and go from there. Dude, so here's the thing, Arstone. Talked about this last week. This is why I love doing this show. We hit on Garrett Wilson. Like, the hope with Garrett Wilson was he would turn into, he wasn't going to be Jamar Chase, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, right? That wasn't going to happen. I believed he could easily turn into an Amon-Ra St. Brown, one of those types of guys, right? The truth is he's not there. He's Deontay Johnson right now. And that's it. And as far as Dynasty goes, we'll buy into that based off of age. And we'll buy into that on best ball. Just, hey, the upside's still there. This guy's young. Dude, at this point, I play Deontay Johnson over Garrett Wilson each week. And it's just crazy for me. See Kevin in the chat. Appreciate you, man. Okay, right. Let's see what we got here. We got 12-team Superflex PPR. Doesn't look like we have a quarterback in here. Oh, Wicks, JSN, BTJ, pick 2 and Y. You must not be in here often, man. I always love spending like 4 to 5 minutes on every question just for the fun of it. Okay, so Wicks is a strong play. Sorry, I shouldn't say strong. He's a fine play, right? He's a fine flex play. Brian Thomas Jr. is flat out the better wide receiver out of these three. He's in, I believe, Jacksonville is supposed to score more points than the other two teams. They are, within a point. And JSN has to compete with Metcalf, Lockett, Walker, Charbonnet, Brian Thomas Jr. We like Christian Kirk, but they play completely different things. So for me, I'm playing Brian Thomas Jr. Then JSN. JSN or Wicks is kind of your pick here. I would base it off like this. How do you think the Rams are going to do against the Packers? If you think they're going to make it a game, then you play Wicks. With the Seahawks and the Giants, I don't think the Giants are going to be able to score many points. So I think this is one of those games where Geno isn't going to have to throw for 300 yards. He's averaging like 290 right now. You tell me Geno's going to only have to throw for 230 yards this week, I'm not playing JSN. Murph, what's up, man? Okay, so we are pick 2. I'm assuming PPR like normal if it's not mentioned. So Eckler, Wan'Dale, Hunt, or Flowers. Dude, I love Flowers going into this year. Flowers isn't playable right now. I think he had 3 targets last week. They spread the ball so much. There's a strong chance to where the Ravens can just run all over the Bengals. And if that's the case, then Flowers is going to have another 3-target game. Hunt is a play for this week. I'm going Hunt and Wan'Dale. Wan'Dale, like I said, he's going to get a lot of targets. So everything that you hope Eckler can get, Wan'Dale is going to get. And Eckler isn't going to get any of the rushing game. So you play the wide receiver that's on the field every single time, then play Hunt with him because he's the best running back right now until we see CEH come back. Njoku is active. Njoku or Muth. I'm playing Patty F, man. Normally I would be playing Njoku, but the guys the first week off injury when they really haven't practiced a lot, if you don't have to play those guys, just don't. Just play Patty and we'll just go from there this week. Bowers or Kraft? Dude, Kraft is a strong play, so that's the only reason why I'm being hesitant. But Brock Bowers is not going to be on Certain Island. And that's what I care about with the Raiders. I really think Bowers is going to go back to what he did week 1, week 2 to have a high target share. Bowers is the play for me. All right, guys, we're slowly catching up. So if you have any more questions, please throw them in. If not, I'll go straight DFS. We'll start breaking down lineups. Okay, so hey, like I said, appreciate you, man. Everyone that's in the comments right now, thank you. We have 200 people watching, and that's just on YouTube. So go ahead, like and comment. Just throw something in the chat. I'll answer all your questions. We're good. Kevin, I see you. CEH is the best on the Chiefs right now. Okay, Ryan C. Let's see. We got Akers or dude. Cam Akers is not a good running, but Javonte isn't good, But Cam Akers is, I don't even know how he's on rosters right now. I am not playing him. I know Buffalo's rush defense looked horrible last week going against the Ravens. I don't care. I'm still playing Javonte. Whittington or Javonte? Oh, this is fun. You know, I'm going to pull up. So for anyone who's new to this is the Dynasty Daddy Sit Start tool. If you're watching on a computer, it's a lot easier to see. If you're watching on your phone, it's a little bit harder, but it has Sleeper, Fantasy Pros, FanDuel, NumberFire, Yahoo, and DraftKings projections. So you could throw one person in against another person in, and it'll come off and tell you, like, on average, which one is projected for more. Right off the top of my head, I'm going Whittington. But let's see what everyone else says. Oh, Sleeper hates Jordan Whittington. That is insane. Oh, that's crazy. So Jordan Whittington, I mean, he's projected for 3.66 points, and that's in PPR on Sleeper. Something's broke there, man. That's not accurate. I think going up to 10 is a lot closer. I think DraftKings does a really good job with their projections. So they're at 10. DraftKings has Javonte at 12. So if you want to go off the projections, what everyone is saying, Javonte's your play. I like Whittington this week. So it's kind of up to you. So like the play is probably Javonte, but I prefer Whittington. Yeah, I see a dynasty question a little bit further down. Go ahead, throw those in this week, guys. Because I go through these a lot faster when everything's going on. So, hey, Too Rich, I'll be getting to yours here in a second. Okay, let's see. Ties back. Let's go Chase Brown or Sermon. Dude, I'm playing Chase Brown. I know it's a half point, so you're a little bit worried about that receiving game. If I have some other running back to play over Trey Sermon, I'm going to do it. There's like the borderline plays that you could play over Sermon and be okay, or play Sermon over, I should say. I'm going to go Chase Brown there, man. Okay, Too Rich and Bree TV. Let's see. Let's go. Good morning. Would you start Flowers or Tutu? I'm starting Tutu. Tutu is the best wide receiver on the Rams right now when nobody else is talking about him. He's completely fine. We'll throw this in the tool real quick just because we have a second. But Tutu, I don't really care what the projections say. I'm playing him because he's just the higher producing guy right now. Like I said, Flowers can get 7 targets this game. See these projections. There's just no way. Like, dude had 3 targets, and it's not like he's doing any better. Here, give me 1 second. I'm going to pull up the Ravens real quick. Yeah. So those are snaps. Yeah, it's being weird. Yeah, dude. I know the projections are saying this, and like the smart thing for me to be right, so no one goes back on the comments is like, I can't believe you said to play Tutu Atwell over Zay Flowers. That was so stupid. This is one of those to where I'm fine with it. Dude, Tutu Atwell's a better play this week. I'm not playing Zay Flowers over him. Move that for a second. All right, guys, like I said, we're slowly, not quite catching up, but we're getting closer. Just, hey, I appreciate that, Cliff. Richardson is out. So that's not good news, but Rodgers is down. That's not great. This week only Leggett or Adunze. Leggett is, so I talked about him going, let's see, was it week 3? Yeah, so 2 weeks ago, I said, hey, he's starting to turn it on. Last week, he looked really, really good. He's going to flat out get more targets than Adunze is. I'm going to play Leggett. Tank is scoring this week. Patrick, dude, I agree. This is, if anyone plays on DraftKings or FanDuel, like Tank's pricing compared to the other 2 wide receivers on that team is just a little insane right now. I think Tank is just a really, really strong play. Kevin, appreciate you, man. Okay, Dylan, need help. Oh, there's a lot here. Okay, full PPR, different leagues, 2 questions. Okay. First question, I'm assuming, is this one: start 1 QB and 2 flex. So we have Murray and Fields. Okay, so I am going to play Justin Fields over Kyler Murray. I worry. I know the Cardinals always end up playing the 49ers pretty well. After last week, I'm willing to pump the brakes on that Cardinals offense a little bit. It's because there's a chance McBride doesn't play. If McBride doesn't play, like, Murray just has no one to throw to out there. So I'll play Fields over him just so I don't have to worry about it, right? Then we'll go start 2 in the flex. You have Akers. He's not in my lineup. So you have Waddle, Wicks, or Jennings. I am playing Juwan Jennings a lot. He is going to be in there. You can't really play Waddle right now. The Patriots defense isn't great, but it's good enough to stop whatever these Dolphins guys are doing. So Waddle and Akers are actually going to sit for me, and I'm going to start Wicks and Jennings. Crazy. Okay. Start 3. We have Terry, Ayuk, Wicks, Downs, Sutton. Terry, Downs, and Sutton for me. And like Wicks, like, he's a fine play, but not really huge on it. Brandon Ayuk can make all of us look dumb any week. It could be this week, it could be next week, but he's going to go out and get 180 yards. We'll be like, see, we all should have had him in our lineup. And then but he could go and get 2 targets, or not targets, but 2 catches again. It's like, well, maybe we should sat him because we should have known, right? So Downs, he's the best wide receiver on the Colts right now. Sutton is getting every single target he wants with the Broncos. And Terry's just a really strong floor play there. Kevin, trade my Rice for Garrett Wilson on a dynasty contender. You know, this is actually really close. For me, if I'm contending, I still want Garrett Wilson. I think what you're going to look at for the rest of the year with him is fine. He's 7 catches, 70 yards. Just kind of be happy with it. He's not going to have the upside that Rice is going to have, but Rice does have the injury. He has that suspension looming. And whether you're worried about it or not, other managers in your dynasty leagues are. So you could be like, oh, hey, Rice is going to come back. He's going to be fine. But the trade market just isn't there to where it can be there. It's very easy. We see it in dynasty all the time to where someone likes Garrett Wilson because of his draft profile going in. So he gets a lot longer leash because he hasn't had any off the field trouble. Most of the stuff could be like, oh, hey, the quarterback's bad. That's why Garrett Wilson's bad. So in my view, I think you just pick up Garrett Wilson there and let someone else worry about the Rashee Rice stuff. Guys, we're almost caught up. Okay. Hey, no problem. Hey, I appreciate you, man. Okay, so we are Caleb Williams or Joe Flacco. Off the top of my head, I'm playing Flacco. I don't even know if a lot of projections aren't even there for Joe Flacco right now. I wonder what Caleb's are, though, because they can't be very good. Caleb is 16, 15, 14, 15. Yeah, it's fine. I'm playing Joe Flacco. The worry is the rain, right? So if we get news the next hour of like stadium shots of just a complete downpour, then go ahead and back up off of your anytime you're starting Flacco or any of the Colts wide receivers or any of the Jacksonville wide receivers, right? Back off it then. But if the weather was perfect or they were playing at home, I would just say it's Flacco. I'm not even worried about it. Right now, it's Flacco with the slight concern about weather. All right, guys, it looks like I'm actually caught up on the question, so that's awesome. So if we don't get a lot more in here in the next 7 minutes, I'll go ahead and call this early. But I'll go ahead and go over a couple things. Let me check the DFS news real quick, make sure we're not Aaron Rodgers limping off the field. Yeah, so we have nothing really big right now as far as news-wise, nothing showing up. So looks like we don't have any I'm still waiting for stuff on McBride. If anyone's seen anything on McBride, let me know. But from what I've heard is he should play, but there's a chance that he doesn't, which is kind of scary because it's an afternoon game. And while I might not have a lot of rostership of McBride, it turns into, well, how much do you like Kyler Murray at that point? If Kyler Murray can only throw to Marvin Harrison Jr. going against the 49ers, and I don't even like playing tight ends against the 49ers because Fred Warner just stops every tight end. It doesn't matter who the tight end is. Fred Warner against any tight end in the league, I'm picking Fred Warner. I mean, I don't care if it's Kelsey 3 years ago, Kelsey, I'm still playing. If I had to play a defensive player, I'd be playing Fred Warner, right? So a big thing is, let's just talk about some solid plays that I'm seeing this week. Let me load this up real quick. So like I said, Kraft is a really good play. Kincaid is a great play. We have Burrow, I think, is going to be the highest scoring QB. Sorry about that. As far as we can see, I mean, Jalen Reed's an absolute smash. T. Higgins is a very sneaky guy this week. Jerome Ford going against that Commanders defense. If we see that Browns offensive line, remember, they've been really unhealthy this whole year. They haven't had their true starting lineup yet. If that gets healthy, all of a sudden, the Browns will start to turn things around. There's a chance they do it against this terrible Commanders defense. And like I say before, if Darius Slayton is on your waivers right now and you have, like I always keep bringing him up, but a KJ Osborne, Pop Douglas, that kind of play, I think Darius Slayton is a very, very smart pickup this week. I would, like, if I have put numbers on it, the projections won't be there, but 5 catches, 70 yards. I think 12 PPR is definitely in his wheelhouse. So if you have a guy to where he's projected for a lot less than that, then I would definitely just move on from there. Okay. Jeff, dude, I appreciate you, man. Okay. Let's see. Oh, dude, I love these. Okay. So 12 team, Jeff, I am assuming this is Dynasty as well, right? I see you in the comments, so you should be able to answer that pretty quickly. So 12 team Superflex, 1 tight end premium. I am 1-7, third in max points for. Oh, so that's rough. So week 5 buys. You have Love, Gibbs, Nico as your blue chips. Is your season nuked? Go ahead and throw some more of your players in there, man. I could go a lot more in depth on this. Is your season nuked? 1-7, that means that you're playing 2 teams. I mean, you probably have I forget what it's called, the league medium, to where you play your matchup and then you have to beat the league median each week. And if you're not hitting that league median, I would give it this week. This week is already going to be pretty tough because you don't have Gibbs. So if you go 1-9, yeah, your season's pretty nuked at this point. But the thing is, don't, just because your season nuked, please don't do what I see a lot of teams do in leagues, to where they go, hey, I'm losing, I want draft picks. Dude, Love is going to be great next year. Gibbs is going to be great next year. Nico's going to be great next year. So, and especially if someone else already has your first, let's say you went out and traded your first away, and now you have a team that's just not doing that well, there's really no reason to trade anyone unless they're an old vet. If you have a Hunt on your team, a Kelsey on your team, an Andrews, Diggs, Devontae Adams, those guys, yeah, sure, move those guys off to contenders. But okay, let's see what we have here. Ooh, I love it. This is like the pure, this would be a perfect Dan question because this is how all of Dan's teams are built. So you have Love, Goff, and Levis. So your quarterbacks are fine. Let's say if you lose every single game going into next year. Okay. So Love, Goff, and Levis. Gibbs, Mixon, Dobbins, Roshan. Okay, so your running backs, you kind of got hurt because you don't have Dobbins this week. Mixon's been injured. Then you have Nico, Ayuk, Wicks, Dobbs, Watson, Hopkins, Ridley, Pearsall, Kraft, Goddard. Dude, your team, your team's fine. Like, even if you don't contend this year, what I would personally do is I would move off Hopkins or Ridley, move off one of those because they're both aging. So there's really no huge reason to have both of them on the roster. Even if you were winning, there's not a huge reason because, well, Levis isn't going to feed both of them, right? I trade Hopkins if you can, but I guarantee there's a higher market for Ridley. So I would move him off your roster. I've actually been able to trade a lot of shares of Mixon this week. I think there's a lot of people still buying in when he comes back healthy. He's going to do very well. So let's say you go out and lose this week. You probably don't have enough weeks to catch up. And then I wouldn't worry about 0 picks because there's nothing you could do about it. If those picks are gone, there's no reason to hurt your team in the meantime, right? Ayuk, Nico, Dobbs, Wicks, that's a fine tight end room going to next year. Goddard and Kraft are fine going into next year. Yeah, I would just move off of a Hopkins and a Ridley, and then I would go from there. All right, dude. But like I said, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Hey, if you're in the DD Fantasy Discord, shoot me DMs. I'm happy to help you out in there too. Okay. Keep throwing out these sit-start questions, guys. We have a little while longer to go, but if that dries up, then I'll just go ahead and call the show. Okay, full PPR start 2 of A-Chain, Brian Thomas Jr., Cooper, Wicks, Worthy, Jason, and Tank Dell. Whoo! All right, so this one's tough. Okay, so you only get to start 2. Normally, I would say, hey, Tank Dell, I want to start him. You actually have better players right now to start over him. With Mostert back, A-Chain's a play each week just because his upside's there because he could break off a 40-yard runner pass any second of the day. I'm playing Cooper. Cooper has been 1 touchdown away every single week. And he's dropped them. It's not like Watson isn't putting them on him. I mean, Cooper's just flat out dropping him, and Cooper has never been a drop guy. So Cooper is going to be in my lineup. The question is, are you going to play Worthy over Tank Dell and A-Chain? Because you could buy into the Rashee Rice is out, higher target share for Worthy, can get you a touchdown each week, but I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to go A-Chain and Cooper. Like if I was going to list them, I would go A-Chain, Cooper, Brian Thomas Jr., Worthy, Tank Dell, JSN, then Wicks. Hit that on already. Okay, Raya's back. Appreciate you guys. Okay, let's go. 12-team SF start 10, 4 points per passing dynasty. Contact, dude. Dynasty questions are fine right now. If you guys don't have sit start ones, go ahead, throw them in the chat. This is what I do for the next 20 minutes anyway, so absolutely not a question. Offer in my inbox. So contact 7-1, most max points. Of course, you're a very strong contender. You have Josh Allen. Offer is Daniels or Mahomes plus a 25-second. Look, I love Daniels. I do. I know everyone wants to make him quarterback 2 because this is what we do in Dynasty, right? Like, this isn't for 1 second me hating on Daniels. It's not. I loved him ever since he was coming out of college. He looked great last year. Yes, I like Drake May more, but that's I see you in the chat, dude. I can't help it. That's just how I say it now, and it's probably more so because I know John hates it. But Jaden Daniels is not quarterback 2 in Dynasty, and he shouldn't be. I know Mahomes hasn't. He ends up being like quarterback 6 to 8 as far as fantasy points goes each week. Jaden Daniels is getting there on his legs. Jaden Daniels gets hits a lot. I'm not saying the guy's going to get injured at all, but we know what Mahomes can do every single year. That's not going away. I am not adding anything to Mahomes for Daniels. I'm just not. I know the hype train's there, and if you're talking about pure value on teams right now, I could easily go, hey, Jaden Daniels is worth more than Mahomes. You should do it. I'm personally not doing it on any league. Jalen Coker is finally active. What do we know about Aaron Champlin? Any interest playing him? Yeah, he's the backup. I'm just not. I mean, because Warren, like, he's probably gonna be back next week, and Patterson is probably gonna be back as well. This is gonna be the Najee show. We've seen this before, to where, like, even if we knew I can't even say his name. We'll just say Aaron. If we knew Aaron was going to be straight up the RB2 this upcoming week, I project him for 4 carries. It's so replaceable that you don't even have to worry about it. You could probably play the fullback for the Ravens, the Richard. You could probably play him a lot more than you could actually play this backup running back. Okay, so we're finally getting some more questions again. Patrick's back. I appreciate you, dude. Just keep throwing them. We'll go from there. Okay. Odunze, Tyrone Tracy. I'll play Tracy. Like I said to begin with, I think he's a bad running back. I don't think he's good. But there is worry with Caleb feeding really 4 different pass catchers, 5 if you want to include Swift. I just don't think he's there yet. So for me, it's Tracy and going on from there. And this is what I was talking about. So anyone who doesn't know, I say sit start. I don't know why I say sit start, but it pisses John off. Usually the person that's here to the left of me on the screen, I suppose. But he's not here today, so he has to deal with it. I don't care. So let me give you a small behind the scenes thing real quick. John texts me 6 a.m. his time, 4 a.m. my time. My phone can't go on silent because I'm always on call for my job. So it can't go on silent because at any point I have to go when I have to leave and help out with my job. And so at 4 a.m. I get a text of hey, Mitch, I'm not making the show today. And I'm like, this couldn't have waited till 7:30. So of course I'm awake at that point. So I just get up and have a coffee and start reading everything that I can about this week's games. And I got to say, the one great thing about this show is it stops me from tinkering with my DraftKings lineup. So I'm really, really happy to do this each week. All right, Patrick, Tyreek, Higgins, or Pittman start 2? No, as I said, I'm not sitting Tyreek. I'm going to sit Tyreek Hill. Higgins is a great play. And then Pittman, I will say, watch the weather for the next hour. I guarantee they're going to talk about if it's really bad. If it doesn't sound bad, then I'm going to play Pittman. All right, Coasty. Hey, first time I think I've seen you in here, man. Post more questions. Okay. Like, we're up to 224 people. Please hit the like button. Please. I'd really, really appreciate it, because I can't even look at how many likes there are now. So we got a 12-team Superflex 2-point premium, my favorite setup. Start 10. So we need 8. I have pick. Dude, I can't count this high. Come on, we can't do math on stream. Okay, so we have A-Chain, Connor, B-Rob, Keenan, Dortch, Evans, Myers, Kittle, Njoku, Hunter, Henry. Need 8. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so I'm sitting Keenan and I'm sitting Dortch. Just A-Chain and Connor. Didn't get a lot. Don't love B-Rob this week, but I like him more than Dortch and Keenan. Evans. So if that's Evans, that's be Mike Evans, right? Trying to think of another one off the top of my head. He should have already played. So we'll go Myers, Kittle, and Njoku, Hunter. Yeah, all those guys are in my lineup. So you're going to sit Dortch and Keenan. Oh, good. We have a whole bunch more questions now. So that's awesome. Okay. Jennings or Yoshi? It's still Jennings. I think we love Yoshi as like a hey, when Higgins or Chase is out, I think he's a play. Right now, he's just not. The target share is just flat out going to go to Higgins and Chase. And we've seen Jennings on 4 targets what he could do, on 5 targets what he could do. And by all means, he can lead him in targets because he's just that good. All right, Jeff, let's see. 10-team redraft PPR, one quarterback. Justice Hill or Chase Brown and Bowers Worthy Whittington flex. I'm just going to order these just to make sure, but I'm playing Chase Brown over Justice Hill, and I'm playing all of those wide receivers over Justice Hill as well. If I have to pick just one of them, just in case, I'm going to play Brock Bowers over all of them. Zach Moss, Jordan Winnington, or Jacoby Myers full PPR. I'm staying away from Jacoby Myers because of Surtain Island. I'm not guaranteeing that Patrick Surtain is going to be on Jacoby Myers. I just think there's a strong chance. So I'm going to completely stay away from that. And that game only had the Raiders are only supposed to score 16 points this week. I'm good. Staying away. Not an issue. Jordan Whittington or Zach Moss? Jordan Whittington. Like Zach Moss was getting all the carries and everything that we wanted with the Bengals, but we saw that starting to switch with Chase Brown last week. I'm not willing to play into Zach Moss if I don't have to, so I'll play Jordan Whittington. Start Ramondre or Rico. Dude, it's a coin flip. I'll go Ramondre with just the Patriots going into it as like, hey, you're not starting, but the upside is still there for Ramondre to where I don't think Rico has an upside. Hey, see, Jeff, I always knew I liked you, man. Okay, PPR, Javonte or Ayuk. Dude, I'm playing Ayuk. I just am. We have a second real quick. Let's see. I accidentally stopped sharing my screen on accident. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, it's because I closed it. Hey, give me 1 second, guys. Cancel that. We're going to go back to Dynasty Daddy. Here, you can go there. Gonna share my screen. Share. There we go. Okay. Like I said, I'm playing Ayuk. I'll be stubborn about it. It's fine. Yeah, everything else has to start brand new. So I'm glad I'm not being crazy on this now. Okay, from different Kevin again. Let's go. If weather is bad, does Flacco really help the Colts? Yeah, because he's still a better passer. Like it has to be a straight up downpour for the receiving game not to work in rain. Rain, there's been a lot of studies on it. Rain doesn't really stop fantasy points from being scored. It's wind that really matters. And then if it's a huge downpour, it matters. Or we've even seen blizzard-like conditions not matter. Everyone remembers the Lions and Eagles games from years ago. Denver has been a lot of them. I remember the one against the Patriots. Buffalo's in them. That stuff doesn't really matter. Almost every single time, it's a wind that really affects things. Costi, my bad. Josh Reynolds, Dari. You even spelled it out. Good for you, man. And then Calvin Austin, pick 2. I'm going Dari and Josh Reynolds. Dude, it's not my fault. Everybody's asking. My favorite thing about Jordan Whittington this week is I thought, I play DFS, play on DraftKings. I thought he was a sneaky play. I'm like, hey, no one else is going to be thinking about this guy. I was looking up the snap shares. I'm like, oh, he's on the field. Hasn't really performed, but it's going to happen. And now literally every other question in this is like, Whittington. Which it wasn't like that last week. It was just funny. Okay. 0.5 PPR. I think we've had something close to this before. And I hope I haven't changed my mind on it, to be honest, because I probably will. So Stevenson, Sermon, and Hunt. So Hunt's in my lineup over both of them. And then I am playing Sermon over Stevenson just because I know he is going to get a good rushing share. He's 100% a worse running back than Stevenson is. What if what if I'm wrong and it's not a, hey, Antonio Gibson plays, most of the first quarter and then Stevenson comes in and takes over from there. It could happen to where this is a weak thing to where they're like, you know what, Stevenson, you're going to get 5 carries, 2 catches, and that's what you're going to get. And if you're going to tell me that before the game, I'm starting Sermon every single time. Here we go. See, it's another one. Whittington or Parkinson? It's Whittington 100%. Okay. Keep throwing them in, guys. We have another about 15 minutes. I'm about caught up again, so go ahead, throw in some more if you have some late news. Give me 1 second before I answer this. I am going to make sure that we haven't missed any injury news yet. Any late breaking stuff, I should say. Aaron Rodgers limping off the field. Let's see, 1 sec. Yeah, and I'm not seeing anything come up. Yeah, the weather honestly doesn't look bad. I wouldn't even worry about it right now. Okay, so we got Tyrone Tracy, Colby Parkinson, or Isaiah Likely, and 2-point premium. Remember after week 1, everyone was like, hey, Isaiah Likely is like a top 5 tight end now. And yeah, now no one even talks about him anymore because we'll start Colby Parkinson over him. Yeah, that's where we are. I'm playing Tyrone Tracy. He's not good. And this is one to where you could come back and yell at me if you want to in the chat afterwards. Tyrone Tracy's, he's going to get, I don't think they're going to be playing Eric Gray a lot over him. He's going to get most of the snaps. That's who I'm going with. I would love this. Isaiah Likely is the better player of all of these guys. Just who knows what's going on with that Ravens offense. They could just run all over. They could decide to throw to Andrews once. That'd be great. But yeah, I'll go Tyrone Tracy there, man. Okay, Zorian. Let's go Pittman, Najee, or Wicks for the flex spot in full PPR. I'm going Najee. We could hate on Najee all we want. The guy's going to get 80% of the running back touches this week. You tell me that of any running back in the league that isn't Tyrone Tracy type, I'm playing Najee. And he has a sweet matchup. Everything's leaning in their favor. So let's say the Cowboys are actually able to go score points. I think that's even better for Najee. Whittington or Freiermuth. I think I saw, no tight end premium. If there's no tight end premium, you play Whittington. Even if you had like a small half point in there, I think we could all project Whittington to get more targets this week, right? Just makes sense with a Fields kind of offense. And so Whittington is the better play. I think touchdown-wise, Patty probably has them higher there, but Justin Fields can run in every single one of them to where Matthew Stafford isn't going to run in a whole bunch of touchdowns, right? I'm going to go Whittington there. Jalil or Mark Andrews, dude. I'm playing Mark Andrews. He was only on the field 40% of snaps. I think he was only on the field for like 35% of snaps in week 3. I know how ugly it is. But in a premium league, I have to assume, look, we saw it with Mahomes and Kelsey last week. Mahomes was just like, Kelsey, you're getting the ball. And then he just force-fed him. I think Mark Andrews and Lamar have that same kind of relationship to where there's going to be a point to where Lamar's like, I'm not throwing to anyone else. Mark Andrews is going to get the ball. And the Ravens coaching staff wouldn't even get mad because Mark Andrews is still a very, very good receiving tight end. Romy D, what's up, man? Okay, so we got one flex, half-point PPR. Roshan, Jalil. That's why we don't talk about Jalil for weeks. Now we have like 2 questions back-to-back. There's Zach Charbonnet. So we know that Kenneth Walker is coming back and he's healthy now. He doesn't have an injury designation at all. But they were still playing a lot of Charbonnet last week when the Seahawks played the Lions. I like Roshan. All those running backs did well last week because they played against the Rams. The Rams don't have a defense right now. Those linebackers are absolutely lost. McLaughlin, he's just not seeing my lineup unless it's an absolute must. So I'm going to go Charbonnet, and then I'll go Roshan, and the Jalil's can be pretty far back behind that. Carlos. Jordan must start Whittington. Like, he really should get that tattooed at this point, or Nico Collins. I suppose I'll go Nico Collins on this, but yeah. Sadly, that's kind of what this show's turned into, right? But yeah, Nico. Dude, Nico is so good. I want to play him on DraftKings this week, but I can't fit that price point in there. Flacco or Watson? I know everyone hates Watson. He's been fine. He's going against the Commanders defense. That's terrible. The Browns should be able to run the ball pretty well this week. I know the passing expectation has been pretty good for Watson. I know they've thrown a lot more, but the fact is I'm just going Flacco. Or sorry. I wanted to say Flacco. I'm going to go Watson. It's fine. I think the Browns are going to move the ball very well. I think Flacco is like a fine play if you have a Goff on a bye or something like that. Or who's a bad quarterback that's escaping me around? Bo Nix, right? I would start Flacco over Bo Nix, but I'll go Watson. Yeah, Carlos, you'll do this for 90 minutes, and then like the words will just start spinning in your head. You'll be like, "Oh no!" You go back and forth a little bit. Happens all the time. Hey, I'm very proud of myself. 2 weeks ago, I wasn't saying Jordan. I was saying Bryce Love nonstop for Jordan Love, and that was slightly embarrassing. But I think we've done a little bit better this week. Okay, Parkinson or Dunze. Dude, Parkinson isn't really a play. He's just not. Like, we were hoping that he could do really well, but he's not going to be in my lineup, so I'm going to play a Dunze. Swift or Pittman. A lot of rain in Jacksonville. That's the thing, right? Dude, maybe you are in Jacksonville. I see your profile picture. Let me know if it's really bad, because we don't have any really idea. I'm just looking off what I see on Twitter. So Swift is bad, but I will actually play Swift over Pittman this week. And Patrick, that was just for you. I got my Swift as bad take in. So that only took me 81 minutes. So that's pretty good. I'll go Swift here. I don't love them going against the Panthers. So coming from Nick, it's bad out here. Nonstop rain. Yeah, if it's like that, then I'm just going to play Swift. And dude, I appreciate the heads up, because we've actually had a lot of questions about that Jacksonville weather. Okay. So Juan, we'll get to this one in a second, but it's really long. So I'm going to answer the short one first, and then we'll see if we get any more after that. Okay. So we have Kittle, Komet, or Freiermuth. I'm playing Kittle every single time. Kittle he's just flat out awesome. I'm not like the other two are okay. You're telling me, hey, I have to start one of these guys in the flex. I'm completely okay doing that. Kittle is a start for me every single league. He's a guy to where I like my lineup settings to be very easy if I could do it. George Kittle is locked in, and I don't even second think that. If these guys score more, so be it. George Kittle every week because of his upside. All right, Juan, let's go. Okay. So wide receiver 1 and 2, RB 1 and 2, and flex. Forgot to put Brees. I don't know how that game's going now, but through like the first half, that wasn't a bad play at all. Okay. So looks like we need five total. So wide receivers, we have Ridley, Wandale's probably going to be in the lineup. Jacoby, DJ Moore, Juwan Jennings, Leggett, and Dell. I'm going Wandale and Leggett for my plays. You're not starting Calvin Ridley because I'm like 99% sure they're on a bye. RBs, we need 2 of these: Kenneth Walker, Jerome Ford, Kyron Williams, and Josh Jacobs. Oh, Lord, dude. Oh, wow. Okay. Kenneth Walker in, and Kyron is in, and Josh Jacobs is going to be my flex. Like, for anyone who's out there who has a question on Jerome Ford is a smash play this week. I think he's going to do very well, but the other guys are just better, right? I really want to fit Dell in this lineup. You can't really play him over Wandale this week. So it would be Dell or Leggett. You know what? I'll play Dell over Leggett just because I think that Houston game is going to be really high scoring. And Dell has the chance just to put up a 30-point game to where I think Leggette's max is going to be 20, 25, maybe to where Dell can flat out get you 2 touchdowns pretty easy. Oh, I've caught up with 5 minutes to go. Perfect timing. Absolutely love it, guys. So we have 220 people watching this live right now. Please like the show if you haven't. Like I said, it helps us out a ton. Do this for 90 minutes. Don't have any issue doing it. Love doing it for you guys, answering the questions. It helps me on all of my Dynasty rosters. And my underdog picks that I end up doing here in about 30 minutes, I don't do them before I do the show. So I make sure I have all my takes in line and could talk myself through things at times. But please like the show. Go ahead, drop comments afterwards. If there's anything that I missed, let me know. If I had any more Freudian slips, let me know. Everything's really good. So I'm not seeing any more questions come in. So we're going to call it a day right now, guys. Hey, I appreciate all of you. If you have not joined ddfantasy.com, please join. The Trinity tool is absolutely amazing. It will make you a better Dynasty player, redraft player, underdog, whatever you do. The Trinity tool for wide receivers is absolutely amazing. You need to join it. And when you join it, make sure you sign up for the Discord access as well. The Discord access, no joke. If we actually had a counter, I would assume there's 3,000 to 4,000 comments in there each week. And I think that's probably a low ball. The game day chat, it's going nonstop. I describe the game day chat that we have in there. It's like going to the bar with your friends and just watching a game, just shooting it, going from there. And then, but you could be at home and you're just on your phone. You're like, yeah, that play was awesome. And everyone's talking about their own games that they're seeing locally. It's just a great time. So that happens every single NFL game. If they have it on, we have one on for that. We also have one on for the college football as well. So it's going nonstop. Hit us up with trades. We have channels for that. We have channels for literally everything. We have people from all over the world chatting. So it's not, hey, if you work night shifts at 2 a.m., there's going to be people in there talking to you. Believe me, I've been there. I know how it is. So like I said, thank you. This is Winning the Week, week 5. I appreciate all of you. Let's go ahead and get out of here. I hope you all have a good week. I hope someone in here wins the DFS contest. Hope someone hits a huge parlay. Thank you, and we'll see you next week.